Hello and welcome back. In today's deep dive, we explore one of those ideas that seems simple at first but is profoundly powerful, the small world phenomena. It's the question Malcolm Gladwell raises in The Tipping Point: how are we all connected? A psychologist named Stanley Milgram had the audacity audacity to ask this in 1960s, and his answer gave us the famous concept of 6 degrees of separation. By the end of this video, you will understand how our social world is surprisingly small, why certain people act as social hubs, and what all this means for how ideas, trends, and behaviors spread. So let's dive in. In the late 1960s, social psychologist Stanley Milgram wanted empirical proof of how interconnected we are. He collected 160 random names from Omaha, Nebraska, complete strangers. He mailed each person a packet addressed to a stockbroker in Sharon, Massachusetts, a suburb of Boston. The rule was, don't mail it directly. Instead, send it to someone you know who you think might be closer in real or social distance to the broker. And so the chain began. One recipient would forward to a friend and that person to another, and so on, until the packet arrived in Sharon. Milgram charted every handoff. What was the result? Most packets traveled just 5 or 6 steps to reach their destination, a stunning result. Amid hundreds of miles and thousands of people, we are closer socially than we imagine. That's where the phrase 6 degrees of separation comes from. Why it is surprising? It sounds intuitive until you realize what Milgram's test implies. Suppose you are sitting in a room in New York and I ask, how many people know you, who knows someone who eventually links to someone in Mumbai? Your gut reaction might be maybe 100 steps, maybe thousands. But the reality is far fewer. Consider people in Dickman housing project in Manhattan. 88% of friendships were within the same building, often the same floor. Friend A might think we share values, but the truth, they share space. At University of Utah, students said that they were friends based on shared attitudes, but in truth, their friendships formed because of shared activities, time spent together. We don't build long distance friendships, we build proximity based social links, and yet we are connected to the world through a chain that spans continents. How this chain works. Milgram's data revealed a pattern. Not all links are equal. Of 24 letters that reached the broker's home, 16 arrived via the same man, Mr. Jacobs, a clothing merchant. Others came through similar social hubs, Mr. Brown and Mr. Jones. These were not just casual friends, they were people who, by profession, personality, sat at the center of the social networks. They had broad, diverse connections. Many, when many paths converge on the same individuals, those individuals become social hubs, the anchors in our small world networks. Want to see this in action? Try this experiment. Make a list of 40 close friends, not family, not coworkers, and trace how you met each one, moving backward. I met Bruce in first grade, so that's school based. I met Nigel at college through Tom. Tom met me through a football game. I met Katie through Larissa, who I met through a writer friend, and on and on. But you will notice certain names keep coming up at the top of the pyramid, tucked behind many connections. Is usually one standout individual. That person is not the center of your life. They are the center of your network. They are your social hub, your connector. Connectors are people who effortlessly bridge worlds, different careers, activities, neighborhoods, interests. They are the informal influencers who connect your dots. In Milgram's experiment, Mr. Jacobs, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Jones received half the letters simply because they were more connected in your life. Perhaps your link to different social groups is a friend who always knows the right person in society. These connectors are why world changing ideas spread. They don't need to shout, their social position does the amplification. So, what is the conclusion of this video? So, what does this all teach us? Number one, the world is smaller than we think. Number two, most of us owe our broad connections to a few key individuals. Number three, influence does not come from numbers alone. It often comes from the right connections. If you want to spread an idea, message, or movement, don't aim wide, aim smart. Find the connectors. That's how movements tip. That's how revolutions begin with a few well connected people. Thanks for joining me for this exploration of the small world phenomenon. If this opened your mind or helped you see how ideas spread, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment. I would love to know who's that connector in your life. Until next time, keep connecting, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of your network.